What happens when truth is spoken, but no one wants to listen? Welcome to HisTime365. Today is day 231, and we're reading Jeremiah 5 through 7, where God calls his people to examine their hearts and return to him before the consequences of ignoring him unfold. The cry of the prophet, a call to repentance. Have you ever felt like you were shouting into the void? That's how Jeremiah must have felt as he delivered God's messages to a people who were increasingly deaf to his voice. In chapters 5 through 7 of Jeremiah, we see a vivid picture of a nation in decline, a prophet's heart breaking, and the urgent call for repentance echoing through the ages. Jeremiah starts by urging the people of Judah to look around and see the truth. He asks them to search the streets and examine their ways. Unfortunately, he finds that they are not only blind to their own wrongdoings, but they are also brazen in their disobedience. God, through Jeremiah, declares that the people are like a stubborn heifer that refuses to turn back to the fold. Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 6. They have become so set in their ways that even when faced with their own sin, they choose to ignore it. Imagine a workplace where everyone is focused on climbing the corporate ladder, ignoring the unethical practices that are slowly eroding the company's integrity. Just as God calls Judah to examine their actions, we too are often challenged to look at our professional lives. Are we compromising our values for success? Are we ignoring the little things, believing they won't matter in the long run? As Jeremiah continues, he speaks of how the people are in denial about the outcomes of their actions. They believe that they are invincible, thinking that God would never allow trouble to strike them. The reality, however, is stark. God warns them that difficulties are coming, a result of their own choices. The people are described as having hearts that are calloused, unwilling to listen to the very words that could save them. Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 10. This brings to mind a family dynamic where communication breaks down. Parents may notice their children becoming distant, refusing to share their feelings or struggles. Just as Jeremiah implores the people to open their hearts and ears, we too must create spaces for open dialogue in our homes. It's easy to become so caught up in our daily routines that we miss the signs of distress or discontent. Listening is a powerful tool, one that can bridge gaps and heal wounds. In a particularly poignant section, Jeremiah laments the state of the people, crying out that they have turned away from God. They have placed their trust in false sources of security, thinking that these will provide them with safety and peace. God reminds them that these sources are nothing but a facade, empty and without power. In our modern lives, we often have our own distractions. This might be money, status, or even technology. We can become so absorbed in the pursuit of wealth or social media validation that we forget where true fulfillment lies. Just as God invited the people of Judah to turn back to him, we are invited to reassess our priorities. Are we investing our time and energy into things that truly matter, or are we chasing after shadows? Jeremiah's plea continues with a call to change. He invites the people to return to God with sincere hearts. Amend your ways and your doings, he urges. This is a powerful reminder that change is possible, but it requires action. It's not enough to acknowledge our faults. We must actively seek to address them. It's like managing our mental health. Recognizing that we're struggling is the first step, but taking proactive measures, whether through therapy, mindfulness, or community support, is where true healing begins. As we move through these chapters, we see God's deep desire for his people to return to him. He doesn't want to punish them, rather, he longs for their repentance and restoration. The imagery of God calling out like a father to wayward children is a beautiful testament to his love. Just as parents yearn for their children to make wise choices, God longs for us to recognize his guidance as a source of wisdom and protection. In the final chapter, Jeremiah delivers a sobering message about the outcomes that await those who refuse to heed God's warnings. He paints a picture of desolation, where the once thriving city becomes a wasteland due to the people's persistent refusal to turn back. It's a stark reminder that our choices have real implications. To bring this home, think about a time when you ignored a warning sign, maybe in your health, relationships, or finances. The first steps in prevention or care can often be the hardest, but they are crucial for avoiding long-term damage. Ignoring symptoms or red flags can lead to bigger problems down the line. Likewise, God's warnings through Jeremiah serve as a proactive approach to avoid pain and suffering. As we wrap up our reflection on these chapters, one thing becomes clear. God desires a relationship with us, one built on trust, communication, and authenticity. He calls us not to a life of perfection, but one of sincere repentance and a willingness to change. So, as we go about our day, let's remember to keep our hearts open and our ears attentive to the voice of God, who gently calls us back to what truly matters.
Thanks so much for joining me today for HisTime365. Remember, today's reading is Jeremiah 5-7, so be sure to spend some time with those verses during your quiet time. Tomorrow, we'll be diving into Jeremiah 8-11, so feel free to read ahead if you'd like to prepare. If you enjoyed this time together, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so that you never miss a day on this journey. I'll see you back right here tomorrow for day 232. Until then, stay encouraged, and thank you for giving God His time today.